Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you, December 9th, 2025. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM. TJ Walker, Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers here on the Big X. Hope you're having a great day. It's sunny, still cold, though, and that snow came and went pretty quickly yesterday. The Cats are back in action tonight, and I bet you all just can't wait. You've probably been counting down the days since that Gonzaga game just to see this team back in action tonight. No, nobody's excited about this one. Understandably so, but we're still going to talk about it. We're still going to preview it and talk about what we want to see in the game tonight. Stephen Peak, how was your Monday and your Tuesday? And unfortunately, I think I know the answer to this question.
Not great. It's been so frustrating dealing. So if you don't know, my Twitter account was hacked.
A hack attack.
So yeah, I got him. Really dumb. Dude, this is so dumb. But there was somebody in Kentucky media that I know that recently lost their job. I felt bad for them. And it's just like the perfect storm, right? I got a DM and they were like trying to get on this podcast. It's like, all right, yeah, I got you. I'll vote. And as soon as I put the information in, I was like, there is no way that's real. Went back, changed my password actually, but I didn't realize that doesn't log everybody out. So got that hacked. They've already made a couple of posts on there. If you see, actually, just gonna ask listeners, if you want to do me a favor, go to Stephen Peak KSR and report it as like the identity was stolen, and that actually triggers X's support a little bit better than just reporting it as spam, but also report it as spam. I don't care. I don't even care if the account gets shut down. I'll start over. We'll make a new Twitter. I just don't. It's just weird that somebody's out there with like my face and name and posting, so it feels like kind of violated in a way. So really frustrated dealing with that. Twitter, they fired a bunch of their staff when they got a new owner, and so they're really slow to respond to things like this. So I'm really appreciative of that. And we'll just maybe I don't know if I need to be on Twitter though, TJ, anymore this year. I can get myself in trouble by having my account and by posting the things my unfiltered thoughts on there during a Kentucky loss. So maybe it's good. Maybe it's good that I won't have access to it by Saturday.
You saved that unfiltered talk for a different radio show, buddy. Not here, okay? We're very filtered up.
Maybe a little filtered? Okay.
Very filtered up here. No, that sucks, dude. And I got that exact same DM. It was Chris Fisher's account who got DM'd.
Yes.
And I got a DM from him, and I was like, oh, man, Chris Fisher, when's the last time he DM'd me? It was 2013, the last time him and I had been in each other's DMs. And he says, yeah, can you vote for me, co-host a podcast event by Spotify and Google? I thought to myself, Chris Fisher wouldn't tweet that to me. I like Chris. No. We've got a good relationship with one another, or just social media interactions is the extent of it. He wouldn't ask me to vote for him for a Google Spotify podcast player. I've never heard him talk about any of this stuff before. That doesn't pass the smell test, so I stayed away from it. Thankfully, I did. I hate that you clicked the link. I've done similar things in the past, not on Twitter, but I've accidentally clicked a bad link before that I shouldn't have, and it's not fun. And you're right. It's a little just kind of unsettling knowing you don't have access to your information. And when I was shadow banned, I went through all of this.
Yeah, I couldn't even find your name on there. It's so weird.
Yeah, it was the old Twitter administration that shadow banned me, but it was going to be the new administration that I was going to have to figure out how to fix it. And you're exactly right. Elon Musk, he just gutted everybody on the staff. I don't think they have a support staff. I don't think it exists. I think it's just a bunch of robots. And you get the old rigmarole of click here, and then you finally feel like you're going to get to somebody, and for me, it would just take me back to the main page again. I would just start over. It was so incredibly frustrating trying to get any help. I know Chris Fisher has had similar issues with it. Just be patient. I think in my social media experience is that some of these accounts get restored in time, but it isn't something that's like a day or 2 days.
Yeah,
so
it's weeks.
It could be something that takes a little bit of time. So let me know how we can help, if we can help in any sort of way. Producer Matt, maybe don't tag the hacked account on our social media.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's maybe just 101 on how to handle this as a station. But how are you doing, buddy?
Well, first off, I completely forgot he got banned when I did that, so that's on me. I'll delete it and then repost it. I'm good, though. I still have my Twitter account, thank God. although mine is not as important as Steven, so mine doesn't really matter.
Well, that's subjective.
But no, I mean it's been a good past 2 days. Went out with the girlfriend last night. We did our holiday tradition we do every year where we go and pick out, like, we go to Five Below and we go to like the $5 t-shirt section that just has all the like cringy, like graphic t-shirt designs on. We just pick out the worst ones imaginable, and we have to go out in public and wear them somewhere. So we did that last night. That was fun.
What did you go with?
So
Do you have a picture of it?
I don't have a picture of it, but I got her a t-shirt of a hamster drinking out of like the hamster like water spouts in their, their cages, and it has a waterfall behind it, and it says Hydration Queen on it. That's what I got her. So she has to wear that in public. And then she got me one that has a like really fat raccoon on it, like sitting on its back.
Uh-huh.
And it just says, "You're looking at a real chill dude."
I mean, cool. Two cool shirts, really.
Yeah, really great shirts.
Oh, yeah, what a cute young relationship you all are in, wearing silly shirts. I did a Google image of Five Below graphic T-shirts, and the first one that popped up, it's a real shame she didn't get you this one, because this one is amazing. It says chicken tendies, and it's just a ginormous graphic T-shirt of chicken tenders, which is great.
See, the Hydration Queen was actually my second option. My primary option, you might see it on there. I don't know if it's there or not, but it says lactose tolerant, and it's of a cow, and it's got like F-16s exploding behind it.
That's a great one, too. No, I don't see it right now currently.
But
there's another one that's a Chihuahua, and it says, "I got that dog in me."
That's the one she got me last year.
There's a big Twilight shirt. It's just got the Twilight characters on it. There's another one that says "You're" with an asterisk. So that's cute. That's fun, Producer Matt. Did you all get any looks when you were out and about?
I mean, probably. But, we don't pay attention. But, like, we're going on vacation next weekend, and we have to go. We made the rule that on the boat one night and we have nothing to do, we have to go out in public and get food in the shirts.
That would be crazy.
So we're going to see what happens.
That would be crazy and wacky. Well, good stuff. Well, I'm glad that you're doing all right. And, yes, all of our thoughts and prayers with Stephen Peaks, deceased at the moment. Social media account on Twitter.
I did. You brought up that you don't know, or you guys don't think there's really any support on like Twitter right now. I do remember a story coming out that like as soon as Elon Musk took over, like you said, they kind of gutted everyone. Well, he gutted their HR staff. They had like no HR staff for the longest time. So there was a stint of people who were applying for like serious high-end jobs and just saying that they played a major like management role at Twitter. And because they didn't have an HR staff, nobody could prove it. So there was just like hundreds of thousands of resumes that just said manager at X or manager at Twitter, and nobody could prove it.
That's good. Yeah, I remember when he cleaned out everybody. And, for situations like this, it's a nightmare. It just stinks. But anyways, Peak, what else is going on in Peak Land? What do you got? You going to Rupp Arena tonight?
I'll be there. Excited for it. Been looking forward to this game for quite some time.
Yeah.
NC Central coming to town. The NC, do you know without looking it up what they're?
I had already looked it up when I was
Matt,
just doing
did you look it up already?
My show prep.
Yeah, look up. What did you ask?
NC Central, what's their
You know
mascot?
their mascot?
They're the Eagles, right?
Well, look at this radio show.
Man,
NC
we're all
Central is not sneaking up on us, folks. That's not happening. Yeah, I did know that they were the Eagles, but if you would ask me 30 minutes ago,
No clue?
No clue.
Yeah, about 3 hours ago.
I didn't know this school existed, but
Same.
I'm really excited about it. Been looking forward to it for the last. I'm not looking forward to it. Can I be honest with you? I don't care about this game.
Do we think North Carolina Central's in the eastern part of the state, the central part of the state, or the western part of the state?
Maybe the Central.
Odds would be Central. Yeah. Odds would be Central, but that never stopped really Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky before, did it?
When they're on when you're losing these marquee games, these games mean nothing to me. They do absolutely nothing. Now, if you would have beaten Gonzaga, maybe even just beat North Carolina, I can look at these games and I don't know. I feel something and feel like I'm looking for something. But now it's just like, just get me to Indiana, because that's the next time I get to actually watch a game and feel like, okay, this could be meaningful in some way. And they're beating up on all of the crap teams anyways. So, yeah, they'll win this one by 30 or 40 points, but who cares? What does it do for me? Zero. It's a glorified exhibition game, unless you lose it, and then the season is over. Sorry, I need to stop being so negative.
Well, like the thing about these games too is you're right about it. You don't have to sound so miserable when talking about it, but you can. It's not the most happy times in UK basketball world, and yet in a hack social media account, I get why you're a little down in the dumps. Kentucky has annihilated these teams this year. Tennessee Tech by 50, Loyola Maryland by 40, Eastern Illinois I think was by 45 or whatever it was. If you're an inferior opponent, you're going to get taken to the woodshed, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And I do wonder if just since this season is already, it just started out rocky and not great, that they take out frustration on these opponents, where it's just like, I'm so mad about the Louisville, Eastern Illinois, bad news for you. Ooh, I'm so mad about that Michigan State game, Loyola Maryland and Tennessee Tech, watch out. Well, now you have the North Carolina and Gonzaga games stewing. So this is going to be a big one for UK. But you're right. There's nothing really you can take away from it. If the effort looks good, if the effort and the energy looks better than it did all of last week, who cares? It should. How could it be any worse? And then if it doesn't look good, well, that'll be concerning, but you'll still probably win easily, so I don't think people are going to be as nitpicky about it. There is just not too much area for growth in this game. So what you have to do is just go out there and play really hard. Go out there, everybody plays hard, you win by 50 or 60, and yeah, nobody, not that they would act like it's this huge win or the season's back on track, but this is just keep your head down, do your business, and then, yes, let's all reconvene on Saturday night for a big rivalry game, in which case you lose that one, and the season's it's just over. It's just over if you lose to Indiana on Saturday.
Yeah, it is.
Not that it would be physically over, and not that you couldn't turn things around and still make the tournament or win the SEC and do those things, but let's just be real. If you can't beat this Indiana team,
how are you going to go on a run like that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And Kentucky is getting seemingly a little bit healthier, but still not 100%. Stephen Peak, what is the latest with Mo Diabate and Jalen Lowe before we get into a Jaden Quaintance conversation?
Jack Pilgrim had an update last night. Mo Diabate now day-to-day. JQ was in practice. I don't know did you see the photo of him going up and getting that block in practice? I don't know if you saw that one, but he's doing 5-on-5 full contact. The target date for JQ was today. By the way, it was like December 9th was one of the dates that we had heard that he could possibly make his return. Now, I'm guessing he's not going to play tonight because I feel like we would have heard something. I kind of wanted him to get a few minutes in one of these
garbage games.
Yes, and that it would be nice to have him against Indiana for sure.
If he's running 5-on-5, couldn't you throw him out there tonight for 2 minutes?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to.
I mean, really, you heard Mark Pope say he's still ways away, but he's scrimmaging.
But he's breaking records in his recovery.
He's doing all these things. Why not give him 3 minutes out there just so the fans can have something to not be miserable about for a second?
That would be the only thing that would make this game worth watching, in my opinion, is if JQ just put him out there for 5 minutes. Let's just see. Also, is Jalen Lowe's the starting point guard, right? Like he was supposed to be the starting point guard. Why is he coming off the bench in the 2 games he's been in? Can we not just start him?
Is he not healthy? Well, if he's not healtty, then why is he playing him at all?
Yeah, so that's what I don't understand.
And if he is healthy, well, you just want him to kind of shake the rust off.
The rust off. He's in warm-ups. Just have him go from warm-ups to playing. I don't know why we'd have him sit on the bench for the first 6 or 7 minutes and then bring him in, and while your team's already struggling to score. I thought he's if he is the facilitator of the offense, TJ, how many field goals do we have in that first 8 minutes?
Oh, gosh, too many to count, really.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me
lose track.
The sarcastic cheers when they first made the free throw on Friday night. And then eventually when they actually made a shot, it was so pathetic.
Yeah. So, I don't get any of that. And then, okay, so if you could show me something because I don't know, do you want JQ's first game to be Alabama at Alabama?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it'll be Bellarmine.
Or St. John's. You don't want it to be a physical game like that against St. John's. So then you start looking at the schedule and you're like, all right, well, he's getting close, but you may not want to throw him back in a tough game. Yeah, it's either tonight or Bellarmine.
Yeah.
And I would even that's just the thing that makes these conversations difficult is we just don't really know all right, he's scrimmaging, he's doing this stuff. Can he play or can he not play? That's what I don't understand. He's good enough to do these things. He's healthy enough to do these things, but there's something about the bright lights and a real game versus a scrimmage game. Like, I know that a real game may be a little bit more intense, but is he not ready for that? Or is he? And if he is, imagine that crowd pop on Saturday when he goes and checks in against IU for the first time. Mark Pope, this is a little piece of good news that you have on the shelf here. Let's be smart about this. Let's use it to your advantage to get the fan base a little bit more pumped up. And if you put him out there for 5 minutes tonight, Peak, and he got a block and a rebound, and then you just didn't play him, and then in the press conference you said, we just needed him to get out there, shake off some rust, see the bright lights, and hopefully we can build off this on Saturday, but we're going to see how he responds. Dude, like, it's almost a little bit, I'm not going to say a free pass because it doesn't change everything that's happened, but you could get the fan base weirdly excited for Saturday when there's no real reason to be excited for Saturday besides the fact unless you just hate IU like I do.
Yeah.
Because this team stinks.
Right.
And I don't think JQ is this magical piece that totally puts UK back in the top 10 where we rightfully belong. I don't think that. I think he'll be a really good defender. But if you had just a little bit of optimism, and that's really your only sign of it, I'd push that button if I were Mark Pope.
Yeah. I mean, look, like you said, you can't lose to IU. You can't. And I wonder what the fan base will do if they get down in that game. I mean, there's, like I said yesterday, what is it now, 30-something% of games that Kentucky's played against Power 4 competition in the Mark Pope era, they've gotten down by 12 points or more.
That's so bad. It's just hard to even fathom.
I mean, and you can look back at last season and say, well, the SEC was very tough, and you were trying to win games with Travis Perry as your starting point guard, and it kind of makes sense a little bit. Do we blow teams out? Has Kentucky, like, blown out a good team yet? No. In the Mark Pope era, like, has that happened?
Oh,
we've won games, but has Kentucky got up by 20? And when's the last time that happened? South Carolina at home?
I mean, LSU, Illinois in the tournament. Well,
that was a close game. It was
a 9-point win. It was buffer zone game. You're right.
6-point game with like a minute to go.
Not a blowout, but I never really thought Kentucky was going to lose the game.
I felt comfortable most of the time.
Yeah,
yes,
no, you're right though. You're right.
To pour it on a team like
LSU on senior day, they blew out, but they stunk. One of two SEC teams that didn't make the tournament.
Right. Yeah.
Beat Tennessee by 11. That was another kind of buffer zone game at home. They
pulled away late.
Tennessee did make one run. Yeah, you're right.
It's Texas A&M. I think they won by 12.
Texas A&M, they won by 11, but that was kind of one of those ugly games where A&M was rebounding everything.
They played without their starting point, their best player also.
No, you're right. I mean, you are right.
You're right. They have not blown out anybody. There's not one good team that Kentucky has
what does that
pulled
say
away
when
from.
You can get blown out so badly, so frequently, but you cannot do the inverse? What does that say, Stephen Peak? I think I know.
Yeah, not very good.
Yeah.
It says exactly what Mark Pope said today, is that they're in the tough spot, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a tough spot.
What did you make of the coaches show last night? Did that make you feel better and more optimistic about the future? Did you listen to any of it?
Yeah, I did.
I had other media members. I don't like say this. Who cares, right? Nobody should care. But I've never had media members text me during the Mark Pope press coaches show, I should say. I had people texting me being like, "What is UK athletics doing? What are they doing?" So I was doing stuff with the kiddos, and I had to go turn it on to find out what were they doing. And Stephen Peak, we found out what they were doing.
What did they do?
They weren't talking UK basketball, at least not present day.
I gotta kind of watch what I say a little bit because I know I said this.
We're filtered, TJ. Relax.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, filter this. Think about it and then just filter it up as much as you can.
There is so much and really all it is, TJ, win games. Win games in your regular sports.
I'm just gonna paint this picture for you all real quick. Sorry to interrupt, Peak.
No, go ahead.
You're acting like somebody you have a deep, dark secret that you don't want to tell somebody. Like,
me?
Like to me, it's almost like is the wife cheating on me and you don't want to tell me and you've got to break the news? Did something happen and you're just worried? It almost seems like you have this burden on your shoulders that you just want to let out. I think you're frustrated about something.
Well, it's really nothing specific. It's just like there's so many things. You brought it up yesterday. You saw what Ryan Black said in the Kentucky Roll Call Twitter group.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I tweeted. We talked about it on air, but basically what I just said on air yesterday, I put into a tweet format, and basically just calling out. Not I like Susan Slacks. I've got nothing against Slacks, as they call her. She's in the UK athletics realms. She seemingly is one of the good ones, but it doesn't mean she's not going to have a bad take. So I was in Nashville when she tweeted out that, like, Mitch Barnhart, this narrative that he doesn't talk, you all are so wrong. Not only does he talk, he actually talks all the time, and if you all can't pay attention to that, it's on you, media members. And this doesn't even count the other media interviews that he does. So wanted to clear that up. It's a great day to be a Wildcat. Have a good one. I'm sorry, that level of gaslighting is bad for UK athletics and will only make things worse for UK athletics. Because for them to say, not only are you all wrong that he's not available, he is available, he's actually super available. I had to just tweet it out about it. Like, I just had to say something publicly about it because that is BS. It's just BS. So I made a long tweet just being like, no, this isn't right, and you all need to be better. And you're right, Ryan Black of the Courier-Journal, and I was proud of him to do this because
I was shocked. I was a little shocked. Not that Ryan would do it, but that anybody from the Courier-Journal would say
just
this.
Like a media member who is part of the power teat of this thing that we find ourselves in. You have to kind of suck up to UK athletics to be in their good graces.
Sure.
And if you speak out against the hand that feeds you, they're going to make your life a little bit tougher. So Ryan Black saying, I've covered 5 Power 4 schools across 3 leagues. No AD has ever made himself less available, harder for me to reach than Barnhart. The post-board meeting availability can't be compared to a press conference or a one-on-one sit-down interview either. In my opinion, just my 2 cents. So he even is having to be like, this is just my opinion. This is just the way that I see it, because he knows saying this publicly against UK athletics is going to get them. He's not going to be on the good list. And then, I followed up and I said, appreciate you saying that, blah, 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 blah. And he says, I understand that every AD has their own way of operating, but he's the first who straight up declined when I asked for his cell. Having a direct line to the man in charge of the program I cover seems important. Told me to email the department and I would forward it to him, which I almost responded back to this, but just decided, let it go. I have never had an email even returned from Mitch Barnhart's office. Not even returned. So as far as and there's been several. Granted, in the last couple of years, I have not sent one, I don't think. Maybe one. But before then, like around the pandemic, even a little bit before the pandemic, and certainly after it, I've tried to get in touch several different times. Wouldn't even hear anything back. So then you try to start going out to like hopefully they'll forward this to the right person. And I did hear back from some other people in the athletics department just to let me know that I had emailed the wrong person.
Okay.
And to email the person that I'd already emailed several times and never heard back about. But not to make this, like, I'm not a journalist. And if UK doesn't want to play ball with me, that's one thing. But to have the beat writer from the Courier-Journal come out and say this publicly, that's not a good look for UK. So tie all this in for me. You said that this interaction with Ryan Black, Mitch Barnhart, UK basketball, it's just got you down?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, like that. I said this on the Rapid Reaction. Everybody associated with Kentucky basketball for the last 6 years, maybe even longer, should be ashamed by this. And, we had it all ties together into that Mitch Barnhart press conference where he's saying, like, enough is enough and we have enough, or whatever the phrasing was. And I feel like you have to preface this with, like, yes, the other sports are doing well. Volleyball's doing great. They play. What day is it? I've lost track of my days.
Tomorrow?
They play on Thursday, right?
Thursday.
They play on Thursday. If they win that, they'll play on Saturday, like before the IU basketball game. Great. That's awesome. I like that the other sports are doing well. I loved going to Nebraska to follow the baseball team a couple years ago. That was great. I like that our secondary sports are doing well. Why is it, though, that why are the other blue bloods in college basketball? Why are they all figuring it out? Why is it that for the last 11 years, Kansas has been a 1 seed like 7 times, and Duke was a 1 seed in a Final Four last year, even with a new coach, and they've been to multiple Final Fours. And North Carolina's won a national championship, been to multiple national championships, been to multiple Final Fours, getting 1 seeds. Kentucky's not doing any of that. And
we got a Mitch Barnhart problem.
You know, and then the football thing starts to, it's just like as soon as we got to where the NIL stuff started, the 2 revenue sports went backwards by a lot.
If we haven't ever have in our lives another AD for 25 years and he only wins 1 basketball championship, I'm going to lose my mind.
I mean, that's
25 years and 1 basketball championship? It's ridiculous. And you think about all the talent that's gone through the program during that time. Hey, it's not Mitch Barnhart's fault that Cal would choke in the tournament. Do we know that? I mean, not that the tournament aspect of it, but do we know that Cal wasn't held back by Barnhart in some capacity? Do we think that Mark Pope has all the tools that other coaches at Blue Blood programs have? Or is Mitch Barnhart holding some things back? And let me alert you back to his answer when he did talk to the media. Talks all the time, actually. When he said, we're not going to cheat. We're going to do it the right way.
There are no. What
does that even mean, Mitch?
What are the rules?
Yeah.
What are the rules right now? That's what I'm like. As I sat there and listened to that, I was just like, okay, so explain to me how the other schools are cheating.
Did you watch Always Sunny? What
No, I didn't.
are the rules?
Okay.
Do you get it? Do you understand the reference, producer Matt?
I never watched that
Boy,
show.
that's tough. Okay.
Should we watch it? Is that homework for us?
Well, no. Like, I mean, Always Sunny, to say to watch every episode would be like a 3-year commitment potentially. But they do have funny episodes. But I think maybe you're still in that window, Childress. Peak, you may have matured too much.
Oh,
but when we were like
okay.
23 or 24 in college, that show is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, they did a song called "What Are the Rules." And it made me think of that. But, yeah, there are no rules, to go onto your point. And but instead, he always will bring up the rules.
That's what I'm confused about. So when he says that, we're not going to break any rules. We're not going to do what the other schools are doing. What are they doing? Do you have any guesses?
And who's getting in trouble for all this rule breaking?
Who is? Right. That's what's confusing to me. And like, so
is Indiana doing things the right way football wise? Because whether
they
they're
cheat?
cheating, can we cheat? Can we cheat if they're cheating, or can we just do it normal if they're doing it normal? Yeah, I agree. And of course, he's not ever going to get followed up on that.
It was a personal aversion to players getting paid. He didn't like it.
Yeah.
He didn't want the NIL stuff. And it showed. I remember doing a video a few years ago that was like, Tennessee has been doing their NIL stuff. Kentucky rolled theirs out. Kentucky had just rolled their NIL out, and Tennessee had been doing it for about a year and a half before Kentucky. And I don't know if the results that we've seen in basketball and football reflect that they've been, a year and a half behind, or if it's just bad coaching, bad roster construction. But when both of your revenue sports are struggling, and I hope Will Stein, and I believe in Will Stein, to believe in him to turn around. I do think Mitch made the right hire there. So, tip of the cap on that hire. But when they both struggled like this, especially like you have the winningest basketball program of all time. I mean, that Kentucky basketball might this you can't really quantify this or give an absolute, but it's the program with arguably the biggest fan support, like, nationwide. It's a huge fan base. People care about it, and if you live in the state, it's your identity for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a source of pride and civic pride, and to let it go like this, where we are now going to go 11 years without having without a 1 seed. Maybe they can go on a run and make it to a Final Four and end that streak. But that's just not acceptable, and the guy at the top is going to catch the blame for that. Now that you've made another hire. I mean, Mitch Barnhart's made 3 basketball hires so far. Is that right?
Mitch, yes.
And he was basically told, you're hiring John Calipari.
Yes. Because he messed up the first time.
Because we all knew that. I mean, John was available the first time around. He could have had him. And I'll give him credit for doing what he didn't really want to do by hiring John Calipari. And John Calipari, to his credit, flipped that program overnight. I mean, I thought it would take years, and Kentucky went from NIT to NCAA favorite overnight, and like that wasn't going to happen with Mark Pope.
And I just,
but now, like with the NIL, it kind of year 2 that we should be looking at that right now with the amount of money that was spent. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much. Again, I don't know how to. I'm not saying it's Mitch Barnhart's fault, but I'm saying that when you've gone through a streak like this, the guy at the top is just going to catch some of the blame. That's just the way it is. And it's not just the results on the court. There's so many other things that people are pointing to now that it's just like, but why is it that our athletic department does this and no one else is doing this? Do you get what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, that's fine if we are still winning games, because that's all it is, TJ. That's it. Just win football and basketball games.
You don't want to be cheaters.
Can't cheat. Don't know what that even means, but can't cheat. Saw somebody tweeting about, we'll maybe save that for after the commercial break. That actually could be a good tease. We're kind of venting, and we're going to read your text on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Game Day Men's Health is redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to find in a new era. We'll read your text into the show, and we will switch gears over to the football side of things, give you an update on what Will Stein's doing. And we know about Will Stein's money. I don't know if we'll be able to win any of Will Stein's money, but we do know the contract details. We know the contract details for Mark Stoops on his way out the door. We'll switch gears over to the football side of things, and your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line here on KRC. God is first computer, he was only Carolina than any other part, but certainly Central.
Try to remember that for trivia on Thursday. Make sure I don't forget.
Yeah, I think Corey actually may be coming in on Friday. And then on Thursday, we're going to be at 5 Iron Golf, aren't we?
Well, that is true. I forgot about that.
Although, which 5 Iron Golf? Doo-doo-doom. Either Nulu or their new downtown location, which is confirmed it is open and it is operating. They may want the radio set up at the Nulu. But just be ready. Be looking at your phones on Thursday, potentially. But we'll either be at Nulu, 5 Iron Golf, or their new downtown location on Thursday. Come out, say hello to us. We'd love to hear from you and see you. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. A texter says, yes, we know that Mitch held things back from Cal. That's why Cal mentions how much support he gets at Arkansas and how nice the facilities are. Matt Jones got his feelings hurt and ran a multi-year propaganda campaign to have his segment of the fan base support Mitch over Cal. Never forget that.
Well, Calipari also lost a lot. And I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that there's who's to blame, who isn't to blame for that. The results were the results. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can't lose to Oakland with that talented of a team. You can't. I don't care what your facilities are like.
Yeah,
that
you
team
can't have a stretch of St. Pete's, Kansas State.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the facilities or what Matt Jones says. Like, that is, you cannot lose with those players. Like, with that good of a group, you cannot lose to St. Peter's. I mean, there were guys on the staff who didn't log into their Synergy account, TJ. Like, for the whole season. At the end of the year, they asked for their login. That's not, I mean, that I can't blame on Mitch Barnhart as much as I would want to. Now, the overseeing of the program, making sure that you have everything that you need. And, yeah, here's what I've always wondered. Did Mitch feel like he had to hire Cal? Like, did he feel like, all right, I have to? Because then they have, like, a search committee.
No, he was forced to hire Cal.
So do you think that relationship was ever, like, great?
Yeah, I think when Cal was winning, how would it not be great? But I think here's probably how it all went down was after 2015, 2016, 2017. That's where it got a little kind of messy because you had alleged death threats against an official, and then and while you may say, what does this have to do with John Calipari? John Calipari took some steps to make sure he was never going to have any interactions again with John Higgins. It's funny, like, when we talk about this stuff in the context of sports, but then you can take a step back, and in my opinion, Calipari legitimately thought that this human cost him from other national championships. What would you do in his spot? Like, this guy actually has he has an axe against me. He is cheating, basically. And there's nothing I can do, really. Like, it's an official's opinion. People will make bad calls. So after that UNC game, John Higgins never did another UK game again. It never happened. And he never did another Calipari game. He never will. He's out of officiating now, thank goodness. Although I think he trains officials, which is even more concerning. But I think after that, Mitch said, hey, Cal, you need to start, like, what's up? Like, come meet with me. You got to come. You haven't won a championship since 12. We haven't been to a Final Four since 15. You've had some good years. Let's start getting this more of what it was, like when you started. Mm-hmm. And I think Cal probably got a little too big for his skis where he said, no, you're the AD, but, like, I'm the basketball coach. Mm-hmm. So why don't you come over to my office and we can have a chat? And again, I'm paraphrasing. This is not this is just one person's guess. And I think when Mitch said, hey, things aren't going as well, so I want to kind of be on top and see if I can figure out why things aren't going well. I think Cal told him, screw you. Who are you? Like, everything was fine before, and now all of a sudden you want to come sticking your nose around? And I think it started to deteriorate then. And then you had the pandemic. Then you had the kneeling thing. And then you had just more losing. And it started to snowball where I think Mitch was asking more out of Cal. Cal was asking more out of Mitch. And two were just way too stubborn and way too big of egos to meet in the middle and try to get this thing worked out. Then, of course, the Stoops Cal thing. And Barnhart handled that absolutely horribly. Objectively horribly. You picked a side, you bozo. What are you doing? I think Mitch Barnhart has kids. If my two kids were fighting with one another, I'm not going to go do a press conference with one daughter to talk smack about another one, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's so embarrassing. All right, like, just, I guess the sentiment of this radio show today, I'm just so ready for UK athletics without Mitch Barnhart. And I'm not asking for them to, like, clean house in the athletics department, but I would appreciate a new attitude throughout that entire place. We run you all. You all are nothing without the fans. You all are nothing without the media. Why are you such jerks? Like, why?
Oh, they don't want us to be around.
They don't.
They
better be careful what they wish for, because guess what? The SEC, a lot of media coverage there. UK going to be the place without it. How's that going to work for
I
you?
really feel like they would rather all the media just be done in-house.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want that, I guess? If you can control the messaging like that,
Well,
what company wouldn't want that?
And for Susan Lax to say, and this doesn't even count all the other media interviews he does. Yes, I'm sure Mitch Barnhart loves a tough BBN Tonight one-on-one. I bet that he can't get enough of those. I do one-on-one interviews. Yeah, with people that you all are paying to interview you. BBN Tonight is paid for by UK and JMI. And I love the people of BBN Tonight. They're so incredibly talented.
Yes, they are.
And someday they're going to be somewhere else doing real journalism and fun work, and they're doing fun stuff. But it's all paid for by UK, so everything they're delivering to you, you know, is just sponsored and given a little kiss and a little pat on the hiney by the Big Blue. I'm just ready for something different. I'm ready for something different across the board. And that's why I'm excited about UK football, is because it's different.
Yeah.
And I think Will Stein, if not in year one of his tenure at UK, but probably year two, he's going to have a new AD. If I'm Will Stein, that makes me so excited. Because what have the other ADs done for the football coaches around here? And you may say, well, he made a huge investment to Mark Stoops. They renovated Kroger Field. They built a new practice facility. That money was
true.
burning holes in their pocket. And secondly, Rich Brooks left because you wouldn't make those promises to him. And so you tell Rich Brooks, who was doing pretty darn well and had it rolling to a certain degree, you told him to kick rocks because you wouldn't make an investment to football. And then when did they even do it? 2016? So you're talking about like 8 years after Brooks, 7 years after Brooks as is. So you were going to do it at some point.
I do remember. It's funny. It must have been before 2015 because I when I moved away and I lived in Murray, and I used to go to a Kentucky football game, multiple Kentucky football games every year. And I remember going to the Kentucky-Charlotte game in 2015, and the stadium had been renovated. And I after covering Tennessee and seeing other SEC schools, and I walked into, it was at Kroger Field already. And I walked into it. I was like, man, this has gotten a lot better. Mm-hmm. This is like what an SEC caliber stadium is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So I will give credit to Mitch and to the athletic department.
Sometimes have a tough time giving credit when like any AD would have done that, and probably a good one would have done it years prior. But I get what you're saying.
You're not wrong about that. But yes, I walked into the stadium and I was like, man, this place is actually looking a little bit more like what I would expect from an SEC school. And the whole we're a basketball school thing with Cal and Mark snapping back and Mitch getting in the middle. And I guess I don't know. Did he invite Cal? Did he do that press conference while Cal was in the Bahamas still? I'm trying to remember the timeline for this because that was kind of weird.
It was crappy. Now, a horrible, crappy thing to do. I'm sure that probably just made Cal just be like, all right, well, I'm totally done with like that portion of the athletics, but I still got my people here. Yeah. Anyways, get your text into the show. A texter who says Coach K himself had the same dumb luck with some teams. Ridiculous to pretend that KSR didn't hurt UK basketball. Even with Reed and Rob team coming up, the haters wouldn't shut up about how dumb old Cal would screw things up.
Just win. What does Matt Jones have to do? What does KSR or anybody else have to do with how the product on the court plays? When the guys are already there and I would fall for this too, where I would be like, man, I listen to these guys, I read the website, and I thought this team was going to be great, and they're not great. And I would want to blame somebody. Mm-hmm. You just want somebody to be upset with.
The Beowulf effect.
Yeah, explain that one to me. I'm sorry. Explain it like I'm 5.
Beowulf, one of the oldest books that exists out there.
Okay.
It's just a good look that humans just always have to have a monster.
Okay.
There's got to be a cause. Somebody's got to be to blame. It can't just be dumb bad luck. It can't just be things didn't go your way today. There's a monster. There's a bad guy.
That's why, with the injury stuff, I'm at a loss with like, well, they're dumb injuries. They're dumb luck, bad luck injuries. It's not a lower leg injury every time to where you can go, what is the training staff doing? like it's not the training staff. It's just bad luck, and you want somebody to blame, and you want to be. And the thing that stinks is like, I think a lot of Kentucky fans don't really want to. I don't say this. I don't know if I phrased this correctly, but I don't. Kentucky fans don't want to blame Mark Pope just yet. A lot of them. He's getting a lot of heat, but people like Mark Pope, and so they don't really want to point the finger at him. But honestly, like this roster construction and this is his fault. And as much as I want to be pissed off at like anybody, like I just want to like on Friday night, I was mad at everybody. I was mad at myself for thinking that this team was going to be so good, and what we've even said, and I've been talking with Jack, just like what did we all get wrong about this, and I don't.
We're rehashing a bunch of different stuff, going back with the like you're so right, Peak. Cal would still be here today if he goes to a Final Four with Oscar Tshiebwe. If he goes to a Final Four with Reed,
if he
Shepherd,
doesn't
or Rob
lose
Dillingham.
to Oakland, he's still the coach.
Yeah,
like it has nothing to do with what anybody could say.
If those postseason runs flame out in the Sweet 16, he's still the coach. I'm not even saying you have to go to a Final Four. You just can't lose those games to those teams and being a 2 seed or a 3 seed in those instances. So Cal could have handled all these things where KSR or Matt Jones would have been a non-factor because he won, and people just would have said, y'all are arguing and complaining about that dude? He just went to another Final Four. And Cal couldn't do it.
But the reason he gets the criticism from it, not just from all the media, is because he lost. Like that. Like
well,
I think you're running him out of town.
I agree with the texter a little bit that it did seem weirdly more personal with that entity. I hated when they were saying that Cal was talking down to people. That Ryan Lemon would go on and yell every day that he was talking down to people, and he's entitled to his opinion. But is it any different than what Mark Pope's doing right now? Did Mitch Barnhart talk down to us when he said enough? Enough. That was probably actually talking down. When did Cal ever do that? And people get upset. He called me a basketball Benny. Why would that ever bother you unless you're just looking for a reason, Beowulf effect, to have a bad guy? And Cal is now your bad guy. So it got weirdly personal with him, and I hated that. I made that pretty clear every day. It hasn't gotten there with Pope, and I hope it never does, and it never should. If Pope is gone after this year, Peak, it's because the dude is kind of cheeks as a coach. He couldn't figure it out. He had 2 seasons, tons of losses both seasons, tons of blowout losses. It won't be for any other reason that he was mean to the fans. He wasn't endearing enough to the fans. He's actually all those things and then some.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show we don't care. We
Right.
just want to win games. And that's the long and short of it. So if Pope can't figure this out and it keeps getting really, really bad, I will want him gone after this year. Ooh, watch out. TJ Walker will want him gone. You know what that means. No, but in all seriousness, how much more of this could you take? Imagine another half of December with it, with losses to IU and St. John's. Imagine a January of going on the road and just getting pounded by SEC teams. Then you get a good old-fashioned February of that. And then the thing that makes UK fans, Kentuckians in general, just come to life in March, imagine that just being shot in the head on March 1st. And then you want to run that back? Anybody getting some Deja Stoops view on that? You want to run that back if this happens? Now that's a doom and gloom scenario. Let's figure this out. Let's get better. And let's have a big win tonight, beat IU on Saturday, and go from there. And let's hope Pope does figure this out. But it's just winning and losing.
That's it. That is it. I mean,
Al Davis said
win games, and all of that other stuff goes away.
Yeah.
It from Calipari to Mark Stoops to it's never personal with this fan base. We love our coach, like Tubby Smith. Tubby Smith, everyone said got ran out of town and fans never liked him. No, we did. 1998, everybody liked him. 2003, everybody liked him. 2004, everybody liked him until he lost to UAB. 2005, everybody liked him until they lost in double overtime to Michigan State. And 06, 07 were not good years, and Tubby was gone. It's just it's never personal. It's just 2 letters.
It's a W or it's an L. And
You said that yesterday, I think, right?
If you're Jameis Winston, you swallow down those W's. You just can't get enough of them. Unfortunately, we're starving. We're starving, and there's no Oasis Publix crab leg station for us. A texter says, I'm concerned that the lack of effort has a ton to do with Mark Pope. For what it seems like during games, Mark Pope is terrible at holding dudes accountable, and what seems to be very little coaching. If we're being honest, Mark Pope has the demeanor of a Camp Hi-Ho counselor rather than a head basketball coach at the University of Kentucky. With the lack of recruiting and misses in the portal, I'm just not sure if Pope has that it factor. That seemed like an AI text, if we're just going to be honest with each other. That just seemed like AI. Are we ever going to look back? Let's say this is let's do the doom and gloom scenario. Do we ever look back and say maybe having Mark Fox on staff was a mistake?
I mean,
Guy hasn't won a lot of basketball games where he's been.
he was good. Was he like good friends with Mark Pope or something?
He got him his first job when
Yeah.
Pope. No, I like Mark Fox. I'm not, but like there could be. We could look back at this and take a step back and be like, there were signs. There were signs that this may not be.
Well, you know
perfect.
and honestly, like the assistant coaching, that was kind of the issue with Calipari when John Robick was let go, and there was probably reasons to let. John Robick had some stuff going on in his life, very personal stuff, that I completely understand.
Horrible stuff.
Yes, and maybe it was time to just let him take care of all of himself and his family. But John Calipari kind of let some guys stay on staff that it was kind of evident that maybe not probably. Okay, I'll just say they should have got rid of some of the assistants that he had.
Yeah,
they should have, and it should have got like John Welch. John Welch was a great hire, and John Welch left before Calipari was even going.
Yeah,
because John Welch was like, "Oh, this isn't. I do not want any part of this."
I don't want to work with
He
these
saw
guys.
the disaster behind the scenes, and that's what I think a lot of people didn't understand about the end of the Calipari era. There were new coaches and new guys coming in. Who was the guy? KT Turner.
KT Turner,
Who was
head
like,
coach now.
I mean, who was like, "Oh, this is
A mess.
This is a mess. I need to get out of this." And he went and took. I mean,
The issue was though is that like Cal, he got rid of Joel Justice and he did move some guys around, and that was his shakeup. And
Yeah.
I think he thought I can't just keep doing this. I can't. What does it say about me if I keep getting rid of these guys?
Could have been.
So he got stuck with Bruiser Flint and he got stuck with Chin Coleman, and well, those guys are doing a little bit better than Kentucky basketball is, so we can't laugh too much. Hour number 2, we're going to talk football. Kentucky roll call coming up next. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X in Big X. We'll be in 5 Iron on Thursday. We're in studio today. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers. I'm TJ Walker. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. And how about Salsaritas for lunch today? It's chilly inside, but double points with their hot, spicy salsa. I got to pull this up, this read, to see how long that goes. I think it goes through this week, where if you are feeling up for their fire-roasted salsa, double the points, double the heats. Actually, it goes all the way to December 14th. So that's pretty exciting. Wait, December 14th doesn't make any sense. It says Thursday, December 14th. That's not. December 13th is a Sunday. All right, well, anyways, December 14th. You're going to get extra points, fire-roasted salsa at one of their 3 Louisville or Bullitt County locations. Middletown, it's got a drive-through. St. Matthews, interior is renovated a year or 2 ago. And then out to a brand-new location, I-65, Bullitt County. Check them out there. Keep Salsaritas in mind for all your catering, or if you've got a chip lover in your life, a Salsaritas gift card. Wildly addictive chips. Can't go wrong with that. 502-414-1450, Game Day Men's Health. Fun discussion there. Well, not so much fun, but it was therapeutic.
Yeah, I feel slightly better. Did you see the new bracketology?
I did. Just a rule of thumb, I could not care less about bracketologies in December.
It's just interesting. It's fun to talk about.
It is sad, unfortunately.
9 seed, Kentucky at 9. Louisville a 4? I thought that was kind of low.
What do you think about that, producer Matt? Well, do they have any good wins?
Yeah, I mean, all of our great wins have been bad wins so far.
That's actually true. Sorry about that, Louisville fans. That's what it is, TJ. We can't let them have this good win.
It's just like, all right, yeah.
They're net.
You guys are going to get so excited about this win? We'll show you what this win is.
What if we just suck from now on? There you go. But this is also interesting. In the same region here, the Houston region, BYU, a 2 seed. Ugh. You know what's last year it was interesting, TJ, because BYU, Kentucky, Arkansas all got new coaches, and they all went to the Sweet 16, and I think they all lost in the Sweet 16, right?
That is correct.
Okay. This year, BYU has a good team. They're doing pretty well. Arkansas might be the second best team in the SEC, and Kentucky is kind of floundering right now. That's gonna,
grass isn't always greener,
and even make it even worse. Like Louisville's in the top 10.
Oh, Arkansas is going to a Final Four this year. We just need to come to grips with that.
There is a part of me that would be like,
they're good.
I was in the Cal hate last year. I'm kind of over it this year, to be honest with you. Like I mean, like when they play each other in Fayetteville, I will obviously, like, that might come back a little bit. And I did argue that if Arkansas is good, Kentucky fans are gonna hate Calipari again this year. But I'm just kind of over that, and not that I would be thrilled to see Arkansas go to a Final Four. There would be a small part of me, I think, that would be kind of happy for Calipari, you know, because it was really weird last year when they got to where they were 1-6 in the SEC right before they came into Rupp Arena, and the way that everyone in the national media and everybody was clowning on him. Did you feel a sort of like, dang man, he was our guy? Like there's a poster of him, you know, in my house with the national championship trophy. Like there's this guy brought us so much happiness, and here he is. So, and, you know, he would say, no crying on the yacht, and so you know, it wasn't like I was shedding any tears for Cal, but I was like, damn man, what a fall from grace. This has been just a drastic fall from being at the top of the mountain. And well, do you think though, TJ? Because this is what I've argued. I just don't think that it would have happened again at Kentucky with Cal. I just don't believe it. The way things were, and you know, it's hard to come back from some of the stuff that
I have
was
no
going
idea.
on.
You know, like if you have enough good teams, you're probably going to have one that's going to punch through at some point. But how many more marches were we going to roll the dice and find out?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to rip off the Band-Aid, see what it looks like, and roll with it. Just go on and try something different. And we tried that with Pope, and maybe we look back and we say, all right, didn't work, and then you try something different. And you do that about 4 times, and then you're Indiana, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so can't get to that
you
point.
Have to. This has to turn around. This has to with Mark Pope. It has to, because I don't think you're not going to be in a position to make any changes. He will be the coach next year. He will. And what I'm starting to get concerned about is
I really don't know if that's a guarantee. If
it's not. It's not. You're right, but I think he will do enough.
I agree with you, though. My guess is that he will be.
Yeah, and then if you're not great in year 3, then you have to consider a change, because it's now we're going too long with not being great. And the thing that Calipari was able to do from starting with that 2015-16 season was be really, really good. I never, even after the St. Peter's loss, I was never in the camp of you got to fire Cal. Even after the 2023 loss, or 2023 kind of mid-season, I didn't think you could fire Calipari. And even going through the 2024 season, I was all he had to do was beat Oakland, and they didn't fire him. That's the other thing too. He didn't really. He breached his contract, I guess, and went to Arkansas and talked with Arkansas and went there. But I mean, that was on his own. That was his own choice. There is now though, like, you're doing good enough that you'll keep your job. Tubby Smith did good enough to keep his job, but we were never really great. There were a couple years where they were 2003, 2004, I guess. But Kentucky's got to be great again, and because, like you said, eventually you do slide into that territory where it's like you look up and you go, oh, we've only been to like 1 or 2 championship games since 1998.
There may, yeah, I mean, that's
Indiana has gone to 1 since 2000. Kentucky's gone to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we won 1, and that it is actually significant.
That matters.
Yeah, and been to several Final Fours. Yeah. Indiana's only been to 1. I feel like we're more like Michigan State.
Don't like that either.
Michigan State won 1 title since 2000. They've been to 7 Final Fours. Kentucky's been to, is it 4 Final Fours, TJ? Is that right? 4 Final Fours since the year 2000.
Yeah. Should have kept them out of one of those.
Yeah.
Denzel Valentine shouldn't have gotten to go.
Yes. Well, the 2009 team.
Yeah, that if Mango Matthew. No, I'm talking about 2016. Mango Matthew missed the free throws to knock Michigan State out of the Elite Eight.
20.
Is that earlier than that?
I thought you were talking about T-Will.
Are you saying when Matthew missed the free throw?
When he missed it.
That was 15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah, that was 15.
Oh, that's
Michigan
right.
State went to the Final Four. It was almost another UK U of L Final Four, although they would have been on opposite sides of the bracket. I've always wondered the psychology of that, if that could have helped or hurt Kentucky more. Like, do they beat Wisconsin if Louisville loses to Duke the game before? I don't know. Probably not. Probably has nothing to do with it at all. But
yeah, think if they were just on the same side as Michigan State and they got to play Michigan State in the Final Four.
Maybe if Louisville's in the Final Four in Indy, you get a lot more Louisville fans than Wisconsin fans.
Oh yeah,
and then the crowd different.
Come on, Louisville, you could have helped us out.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a good point. I think if Louisville wins that game and Kentucky also goes to the Final Four, I think both teams feel the adrenaline of
maybe.
Could you imagine one of the biggest rivalries in the country playing national championship
with 40-0 on the line
in Indy?
In Indy, a place that place is going to be sold
after
out
the Sweet
easily.
16 game. Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet.
Kentucky Duke with 40-0 on the line would have been maybe the most watched college basketball game of all time. And I
don't think that Louisville team could have beaten that Duke team in 15. That Duke team was just a bad matchup for that U of L team. However, who knows? You know, maybe you're onto something there, producer Matt. But yes, UK 39-0 for a national championship game against Duke. Everybody just would have died. I mean, everybody just would have died.
There would have been like the stimulus of that would never been matched. But yeah, that's Michigan State 2009. I think they upset Louisville. They upset a really good Louisville team. Like that, Michigan State also upset a really really good Duke team in 2019. So it's like Tom Izzo kind of gets these underperforming throughout the regular season Michigan State teams, or maybe that's what they are, and he just coaches them up in the tournament. But yeah, 7 Final Fours compared to our 4. We've each won a national title since the new millennium. We are not Indiana, but we're Michigan State.
Man, If you would have told me all these numbers in 2015 and you said, hey, 10 years later, this is what the numbers, I would just be like, no, there's no way.
That's why, like,
There's just
2015 was so disappointing and deflating. But I was like, it's John Calipari in Kentucky. We'll be right back in the Final Four.
You had Scalabrine coming in the next year. Jamal Murray coming in the next year. Tyler Ulis was coming back, which was exciting. Isaiah Briscoe was a big recruit when he was coming in. The year after that was freaking De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, which were two of the most fun backcourt players to wear blue and white. So, yeah, I'm with you. A texter says, I want to see a starting lineup change tonight. Start low. I want to see Otega looking like he cares. Sick of this nonchalant Aurora farming crap. Get excited. He did last year. Talk to your teammates. Apparently, Jasper said yesterday he doesn't think there's an effort issue. Denzel seemed to disagree. I'm going to go ahead and trust Denzel with that as well. But it's not, Denzel, I think, normally plays hard, but he hasn't been able to figure this out. He hasn't been able to get it to click with all of his teammates. And did you hear Mark Pope say that Otega Oweh had his best practice after the Gonzaga game?
Dude, we are the best practice team in the country. If the people voting in the AP would just go to all of our practices, then they would see we're probably the number one team in the country. Don't let the results that are happening during the games fool you, TJ. Trent Noah is on fire in practice. As a texter said, he shot 70% from three in the summer. How dare you guys disrespect Coach Pope? He got you all a $22 million roster and the best shooter.
I mean, Kentucky has the best 0-on-5 player in the country who just got elevated.
We really do.
We're about to test him in live games.
Texter, to your point, Peake said earlier he wanted Lowe to start, and we did just question, like, all right, well, if he's healthy, why wouldn't he start? And then I was listening to Ben Roberts, was he on the Leach Report earlier this morning? And I always, the traditional journalist, I like hearing what they have to say. And Ben, he didn't take a shot at me, I know that, but he did say, and I'm seeing these takes out there about people saying that Otega Oweh should be benched. And Ben Roberts, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but he says, I think that's absolutely crazy. If anybody thinks this team's going to do anything, you don't think it's going to be with Otega Oweh on the floor? And my counter to Ben would be, you're nowhere close to that Otega on the floor. I do agree, like, this team's not doing snot without Otega Oweh playing better, but maybe the only way you get him to play better is to wake his ass up on the bench. Maybe not. Maybe you stand to lose him, but it's not like right now what you're getting is all that good. And then he made a point to bring up he was UK's leading scorer against Gonzaga and rebounder and assist getter and blah, 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 blah. Well, who cares? He was horrible. He couldn't even dribble the ball. The fact that he got 16 points makes me question if getting 16 points in a college basketball game is even all that tough. So I just want Otega Oweh to wake up. If that means putting him on the bench to wake him up, then cool. If that means letting him play through stuff to wake him up, fine. It seems like you're doing more of the latter, and it's not working. But you got to get something out of him. I do agree with that sentiment. I just think maybe the letting him play through it has not worked. So what's the other alternative there? Get him on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, everybody saw that, not everybody, but most people saw that video that somebody put out that showed the lack of concentration, the lack of effort, the one-handed passes that fly out of bounds. And then the one play where Otega's kind of jogging back, and then his guy just goes right by him and gets a pass and makes a layup. I talked with Brandon Ramsey. I love just talking through film with him. It's kind of a cathartic experience we're trying to figure out what is wrong. And he said that he's a little over the effort talk. This is what he sent me. So there are 100% are examples of some lack of effort, but it really wasn't glaring throughout the game, in my opinion. I think we often mistake lapses in concentration or poor communication or just bad defense as effort. I will say, finally rewatching the game last night, why do I do this, TJ? I don't know. What am I going to do? Am I going to break down the film and send it over to Coach Pope and say, hey, Coach, I got it for you. This is all you need to do. Yeah. No, but I have to just do it for my own sanity, I guess, just to see how bad really is it. I mean, I'll give Jalen Lowe with his dislocated shoulder was diving for loose balls was setting screens and leaning with that shoulder, which I'm like, please don't do that, Jalen. But there was a lot of mental lapses, a lot of communication errors. There was a lot of, it's not selfishness in that the players are thinking, I have to go score because I want to get my points. They're thinking, I have to go score because by me having the ball in my hands, I have control over the situation, and we need a bucket. And if I pass the ball, I no longer have control of the situation. That's trusting your teammates. There's a lot to that. I think there's some psychology to it. It's like the whole thing, TJ, why do people like driving 12 hours when they could fly? Well, because they feel like they have more control over the situation. And people don't like sitting in a plane and trusting somebody else to get them somewhere safely. So that's a lot of it. I think there's I was going through some of the breakdowns. This is a radio show, so the visuals, I don't really want to go through some of those because that doesn't really help you on the radio. But there are plays, 5 straight plays, TJ, where Kentucky should have gotten a wide open shot, a layup, easy points. The first one was 14:06 to play in the game. Kentucky's down 12-2. Jasper Johnson. I like Jasper Johnson. He's driving into the paint. He has 10 Bulldog eyes on him. Otega Owe is wide open in the corner. Now, you might think Otega Owe is not a good shooter. He shouldn't be shooting that. He's shooting 37.6% on catch-and-shoot threes. Okay, we don't pass on the ball. The next possession, 15-2 now.
Where did Jasper go with that?
He shot it.
Ooh.
With 3 guys on him.
Ooh.
Fading away was an air ball. It was an air ball shot from 12 feet.
I think I remember that.
15-2 Gonzaga. You have Yelovich wide open. Brandon Garrison makes the right play. He throws the pass to Yelovich, cutting down the baseline. Throws it too low. It hits Yelovich in the knee. Gonzaga goes down and scores. It's now 17-2. Now Trent Noah, top of the key. Wide open 3 for Trent Noah, the 80% shooter in practice. He doesn't pull the trigger. What happens? Kentucky turns it over. Gonzaga scores 19-2. Next possession, Malachi Moreno, a wide open layup. Misses it. Next possession, Kentucky finally gets their first bucket. They hit a 3 to make it 19-5. Now, so 2 of those possessions led to easy buckets for Gonzaga. I'll give you that they won't hit both threes. Let's say Trent Noah or Ortega Owe hits one of theirs. That's 7 points, TJ. You take 4 off of them. Oh, look at that. You're in the game. Isn't that, and now I know I sound like an insane person for saying that you can take a 35-point loss and break it down to just 4 or 5 possessions as to how it could have been flipped. I'm not saying Kentucky would have won the game, but I am saying that instead of it being 19-2, it could have been easily like 15-12.
I hear you.
And you could have felt like you were.
But like, how many bad plays can a team make?
That's my point. That's actually my point, though.
Without just being a bad team.
Good teams make all of those plays.
Yeah.
Bad teams don't. So I'm not suggesting that this is a good team that just didn't. Oh, they just made mistakes. No, the bad teams make these mistakes. I did the same thing with the 2022-23 team because I looked at the roster and I was like, these guys can't be this bad. They just can't be. So what's going on? And just looking at, wide open shot. Oh, teammate wide open, but we're not passing it to him. That's what, when mediocre teams, which is what this team is right now, mediocre to bad, the numbers, I guess, from KenPom, they still like them, but when mediocre teams panic like this, and that's what they're doing, they're panicking, and they don't trust their teammates, they look like bad teams. And when average and as far as talent goes, teams trust their teammates and just make the easy plays, those teams look like good teams. You don't have runaway talent. You can't be making mistakes like this. You do need to pass the ball to your teammates when they're wide open. You do need to make layups. Otherwise, you're going to look like a really terrible team because you don't have a guy who can just go out there and make up for all of these mistakes.
Texter says, I hated the best practice, and I had to kick him out of the gym comments. I think the staff is pandering to Owe. I think I maybe missed had to kick him out of the gym part because the practice was so good. They had to get him out of there. They just wanted to keep shooting and working, so Pope had to kick him out. Is that what that quote was?
I guess so.
I missed. I heard the best practice part, but the kicked out of gym part. I guess I maybe was talking or took my attention elsewhere for a brief moment. I don't remember that part, but they are definitely pandering to Otega Oweh. That's embarrassing. He's the SEC preseason player of the year. And I'm not blaming the staff necessarily, but like the fact that they're trying to have to dig so much to get this dude to get going is not great. And to your point, Texter, he's had these like glowing quotes about Oweh all year, and you haven't seen glowing play from Oweh all year. But after the Loyola Maryland game, we saw a couple of possessions from Otega's defense that we haven't seen. The passion and commitment defensively, that's where he's going to build his game. I felt like, welcome back, my friend. He said that after Loyola. Is he back? I do agree that his defense is his key.
His
defense is his key.
This guy cleared this up, and this makes sense. He said Oweh was in the gym 3 times a day, and Pope had to consider banishing him because he's wearing himself out. That sounds like a Mark Pope quote for sure, doesn't it?
Yes.
Our guys are just working too hard. Look, I think that when we go in and we saw the Noah Arc system, you can see their stats on it. I mean, Oweh had taken the most shots of anybody. So like I don't doubt that Otega Oweh is giving everything he has. Well, I was gonna say until that Gonzaga game where I saw him, where you saw the bad body language, where you saw him get beat by the guy he's supposed to be guarding while he jogs down the court. Like that's the stuff where it's like, man, don't do this. Like don't be that guy. Like you've been on. I know this is not the perfectly
apples to apples,
but you play men's league. You played AAU ball, and you played on teams where like there's one guy who's kind of just shooting it every time he gets a chance to, and you're standing there open, like pass me the ball, kind of clapping like, hey, I'm open, and then they don't give it to you, and you do the fake follow through, like this is what I would have done if I had had the ball. We've all kind of been there. But somebody's got to step up. Somebody has to be a leader. That's what we talked about yesterday. That when we asked Denzel Aberdeen about it, and he said everybody's a leader. Like that's not how that works. I mean, you can't do that. I'll use an example. This isn't also going to be perfectly analogous, but in some ways it is. When I worked for Louisville City, I don't know. James O'Connor told me not to talk about this, but James O'Connor's not listening, right?
No.
Okay. He had a really interesting recruiting process for his players. He was given a rather small budget compared to some of the other bigger teams in the league. Okay, so he was out finding guys who would he gave them all personality tests when he was recruiting them, and
personality test.
He did. They all had to take personality tests, and what he tried to do was find a group of leaders for each position. So each position, he'd find somebody who was like an alpha, who could lead that group and be a vocal leader on the field and in practice. But for the other guys, he wanted to find followers. He wanted to find good players who could listen to instruction and who would be okay with listening to the leader of that group. And it all meshed together, and they had a really good season, and all the players liked each other. And they all got along, and the locker room was great. And that culture is still alive within that franchise today, and that's why they have so much success. You can't have everybody thinking that they're the leader of the team, or everybody thinking that they're waiting for somebody to step up. Somebody has to step up. Somebody needs to be that guy. Otega, this was supposed to be your team.
Yep.
Step up.
And I think part of the courting process, getting him back, was we're going to get you a huge bag. You were the guy last year. You're going to be the guy this year. And I'm Mark Pope. We shoot a ton of threes. You're going to be shooting a ton of threes. We're going to show the NBA that you can extend the floor from 22, 23 feet. And I think that they just had to recalibrate everything. I think they went in with this mindset that Otega's going to be happy playing this role and getting all these shots and showing NBA teams that he can shoot threes. And you're right. If he's open, 37% is totally fine. I'm cool with Otega Oweh taking open threes. But it seems like everything that made him pretty successful last year just isn't coming easy this year.
And he doesn't have shooters around him.
And that's a big reason why. And you go back to the roster makeup of it all. But then he gets down on himself when things aren't coming easy, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that he's just going to have a bad game.
Well, he's expecting more of himself this year.
I think so too. Yeah. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? We're going to take our last commercial break. We'll give predictions on UK, North Carolina Central Eagles tonight. I promise you, football talk when we return after this on Kentucky Roll Call. Just as insightful, informative as on the air. This is Kentucky Roll Call on Big X Sports Radio. Stephen Peak, producer Matt Childers. I am TJ Walker. Hope you're having a great Tuesday. will be at 5 Iron Golf on Thursday. We're pretty pumped about that. Get your text into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. All right, we got contract information. Do you want to do the Stein contract information first, or
Let's do the buyout?
The Stoop. All right, the buyout.
We'll do it in sort of chronological order.
That makes sense. All right, so this is what people had said before it was official, so people had some good inside source that, hey, he's going to get paid all of his money, but he's not going to make it be within 60 days. He's going to have it spread out, and we didn't know exactly how long it was going to be spread out, but Kentucky will have through 2031 to pay him all the money that they owe. So what it's going to start at, the severance package will be just shy of $38 million, which is what UK owed him. Stoops didn't say, I'll give you a little break for all the great times that we've had. He did not say that. He said, we signed this deal and you're going to pay it, and Kentucky will, just shy of $38 million. The initial lump sum, just shy of $4 million within 15 days of separation, and then the remaining distributed quarterly through April 31st. Okay, so just shy of $7 million quarterly? Yeah.
You said that's up until 31?
Yes.
So that dude's just getting a paycheck every quarter just to hang out at home.
So he gets just shy of $7 million quarterly. So I actually think I read this wrong when I initially wrote it on the show sheet. So he's going to be getting 28. No, that's not.
It's 2025.
The $7 million is spread out quarterly through the year.
Okay.
So he gets $7 million a year from UK paid out quarterly. So, okay, that makes sense.
You better start budgeting. It's going to be a tough life for Mark Stoops moving on.
And I know this has been not the most pro Mitch Barnhart radio show that we've ever done. No offset contract. So if he goes and takes another job tomorrow, Kentucky is paying every dime of this. He could go take a job for $1 tomorrow at the University of Louisville, and he will be getting paid by UK $7 million a year through 2031. Mitch Barnhart, get gone, dude. Like, it's just more terrible thing. Oh, but look, he actually helped out the university. Good. Now we just get to pay this dude $7 million a year through 2031.
I'm actually surprised he threw UK a bone and allowed them to pay it out through installments for the next couple of years.
I'm happy that he did, but there was a little part of me that wanted Mitch Barnhart to have to, figure that part out, but it would have been worse for the program.
Probably wouldn't have been fired if they didn't negotiate this,
you're right.
honestly.
No, that's probably exactly right.
That's just insanity, man. Like, it's not, the Jimbo Fisher one was the one that blew my mind.
Who wouldn't go hire Mark Stoops right now?
You can get him
on a
cheap.
discount?
Yeah.
And he's probably going to be at least, I don't know, will he be hungry or will he not be hungry?
Nah, to prove people wrong, I don't know,
for like a month or two.
maybe. But, dude, it's wild. There's no other, is there any other profession that's like this?
No.
Like, where you get paid because you weren't doing well?
No.
It's insane, but you have to do it because all the other places are doing it, and these ADs keep getting, it's not just Mitch Barnhart. What was A&M's buyout for Jimbo Fisher? Like $78 million?
Yeah.
That is insanity.
But he guaranteed a national championship.
Yeah.
So UK will be, through 2030, Kentucky's going to be paying Mark Stoops more than they will be paying Will Stein.
That is absolutely insane.
That is factually true.
That is insane. So basically right now, we are paying a football coach, our head football coach, $12 million a year, right? Or $12.5 million a year, but only one of them is actually going to be coaching.
That's so embarrassing.
You might as well just keep him and be like, hey, man, why are you paying you $7 million?
Yeah, can we just keep
Want to be the highest paid DC in college football?
UK's most expensive employee is Mark Stoops. He's more expensive than Mark Pope. He's more expensive than Will Stein. He's more expensive than Nick Mingione. Craig Skinner's competing for a national championship. He's obviously a million times more expensive, a bajillion. I don't think that's accurate.
Rounding error.
Yeah, so UK's fired coach through 2030 will be the highest paid coach on campus.
Unless Will Stein gets a pay bump or
I say if he goes 6-6, we give him a lifetime contract next year. $120 billion over the course of 30 days.
Yeah, it's got to be paid out.
I think if he goes 6-6, you bring out a 20-car police escort for everywhere he goes.
I think we need to bump it up to a 40. I think that he already got the 20-car escort, honestly. Will Stein will be getting $5.5 million in year 1, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, and then a 5-year deal, 2030. It's going to be a $5.9 million deal. He does get some incentives and all that fun stuff, but it's not nearly as sweet of a deal as Mark Stoops had. But he's the youngest head coach in the SEC, and this is his first job. So Kentucky, this was going to be a way to maybe save a little bit of money with coaching. He's going to get standard UK benefits, retirement match on $400,000 base, health moving expenses, temporary housing, choice of 2 vehicles, private jet use, personal suite for home games, tickets to other UK athletic events, and membership to 1 private golf club.
That's interested.
Cool. Good for Will Stein.
I was interested in the 2 cars of your choice.
Uh-huh.
How far does that go? And didn't it say he also gets a stipend if he doesn't like the ones he gets to choose from, so he can just go and buy one whatever he wants?
Yeah. Remember when the big dog had to return his car keys and that text message?
Oh, yeah.
Leaked out? Yeah, that was
you got to get back the company car?
Yeah, and big dog was like, woof, woof, that sounds good. I'll do that for you. All right, that's the contract. Any big takeaway? I had so many people tweet me, Peak, why would Stu take a cut? Why would he take a cut? I never said that he should or shouldn't. I was just saying that he didn't, that he decided not to. And totally unrelated, what did it cost UK when Calipari left the university?
$0.
$0. How much is it going to cost UK when Mark Stoops left the university?
$7 million a year?
Yeah, $38 million. Okay, I just wanted to process that real quick. No comment besides, just wanted to process that.
But
I know a lot of people pick sides.
But do you blame Mark Stoops?
Nope.
Not one bit. I mean, he has an agent.
I blame him a little bit for sucking.
Well, yes,
I blame him for that.
But if that's the agreement, why would you? I mean, the one thing Mark Stoops did do that was a favor was make it to where you didn't have to pay it all out at once. And
I think he should have cut 1 year off. I think we should have paid him $30 million over time.
But why?
Because you
just
sucked.
doing the right thing. Is that what you're saying? Like
you sucked. Yeah. You sucked. You sucked. So give us a year back. You cost us 2. Give us a year back. And you build your own statue. The statue ends up just being very similar to the Bucky statue.
Can he donate to our NIL with some of that? Just to Mark, this is your program.
There you go. Actually, we're gonna pay you $38 million, but $8 million has to go straight back into our nil.
Yeah.
Okay. Deal.
And we'll build you the statue. We'll throw a Mark Stoops parade.
You can lead the catwalk next
I bet that would be popping. It'd be in the brand new entertainment district.
We'll do a catwalk from Rupp Arena to Jeff Ruby's. It's the Mark Stoops parade. And then when you get there, his statue is going to be just kind of like a sad man smoking a cigarette at the bar.
I like the one with the cigarette with the cake in his hand. I think that one would be awesome.
I love it. No, he's not dead or anything, but we're just appreciative.
Yes, we're grateful, if you will.
We're motivated, really.
Motivated to be grateful. I think that
I wish he would have given a kickback to UK, but no, I don't blame him for that. No, realistically, I do not blame him for that.
I mean, he has an agent too that's negotiating most of this. I'm not so certain how much of it is Mark Stoops himself sitting in there like, yeah, guys, it's fine. If you want to pay me, you can. If you don't want to, but with Cal's, it was I think he breached his contract technically, but
that's what the Cal haters say.
Okay,
Cal haters say that he cost himself all that money, and I don't know if that. I mean, it could be true. I
would like to know. Well, I mean, he did regardless if he did it on purpose or an accident.
Well,
by taking another job, he did. Like, Kentucky doesn't have to pay you a buyout. So, like, I get what you're saying, and I'm not like I would like to know what more of that behind the scenes.
Saying, like, there are people that say that Cal basically had to go to Arkansas because once he spoke with them without telling Mitch Barnhart,
I'm not even
his
suggesting
contract was voided and gone.
I'm not suggesting that. What I am saying is that just by him going to Arkansas, Kentucky owed him technically nothing. But that's. I know we say that we kind of got a break on that one. Kentucky didn't really get a break on this Mark Stoops one. They did in that they didn't have to pay it out right away. But if they had to pay it out right away, I don't know if he gets fired.
I think
good point.
There's no break.
I'm actually on the other end. Kentucky gets a major break in this. Well, it's a big difference to pay it out through 6 years quarterly than to pay $38 million in 60 days.
Absolutely, but that's the only way he was going to get let go, in my opinion. And I could be wrong.
What Pete is saying is just it would have been a non-starter had he not negotiated out the
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
And that's probably true, except just how would you have sold next season? Something would have had to give one way or another. And maybe UK would have said, all right, then we're just going to make this really, really ugly and messy, and we're going to drag it out through court. So you'll get your money, maybe. Maybe you won't, but it'll be dragged out through court, so it gives us a little bit more time. And maybe Stoops was just like, all right, fine, pay me. I'll get $7 million quarterly for the next 5 or 6 years. That's a lot of stake money.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm no one happier than Jeff Ruby's.
Texture says, put a cow statue outside the football stadium.
I saw that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's not bad.
it just says, did it say basketball school on it or football school? What a weird time, man.
It really was.
That was so strange, and just like
Mitch Barnhart oversaw all of it.
That's it.
And everything in between.
What has happened since that point? What has happened with Kentucky basketball and football since we all had that big we're a football school, we're a basketball school debate?
Straight dump.
It's been terrible. I mean, if your freshman year at Kentucky was going into that season, 2022 season, you've probably just got to witness the worst football basketball combo of any 4-year student at the University of Kentucky. Is that possible? Do you think that might be the case? Because I've said this is the worst 6-year stretch in Kentucky basketball history, and it is. I mean, it is.
Not really. It's hard to argue otherwise.
Let me one up you. Imagine being a freshman in college and you're in 2017, so you're senior of high school. You see Lamar Jackson win a Heisman, and then you don't see a tournament game for another 8 years.
That's pretty brutal.
And your coach got fired, and you have to basically admit yourself that you're not allowed in the tournament, and then you are banned, and then you have to go through 3 coaching searches.
That seems a little personal, producer Matt.
It was a little personal. So I'm just trying to say that Kentucky fans might not have it as bad as you guys think you might have it.
But let me
really living large in the Final Fours in New Orleans, and then the Sweet 16 games in Indy. We were really rocking and rolling as casting cards.
Listen to these records. The records in the Champions Classic last 6 years. Kentucky's 1-5. Record in CBS Sports Classic 2-3. Record in the SEC tournament 2-4. Record in NCAA tournament 3-4, and didn't make it one year. That's a bad 6-year stretch. We finished 6th in the SEC one of these years. We finished 8th in the SEC one of these years. The highest we finished is 2nd, and it's because Reed Shepherd went absolutely bonkers down in Knoxville and got Kentucky to jump 4 spots in 2024. But no first place SEC finishes, which is that. By the way, that we're on a longest gap with SEC championships now. This is not great, and we all kind of said, okay, last 5 years haven't been good. Mark Pope's got his team coming in. We spent a lot on this roster to be great. Everybody has put their eggs into this basket. Kentucky basketball is going to save us. We're gonna have a great year. May not win a championship, but this is going to be a fun year. We have great opponents in our non-conference. They're going to win a lot of games, and it has. I mean, obviously it couldn't be a worse start. It couldn't be. It's not that because they're not even losing close games, TJ, except for North Carolina at home. They're not even losing these games. They're not even in them. And then when you're in a close game, you go 10.5 minutes without making a field goal. There's so little to cheer about in these big games, and it has to get better. It does. And we've had a lot of big picture takes today, but in the short term,
seems like a theme there is Mitch Barnhart's been overseeing all this stuff. All right, switching gears totally. Did you see the news in our fair city regarding Churchill Downs today?
No, enlighten me.
Andrew Cooper-Ryder, who does some talk radio and on WBNA, which we're familiar with here, he tweeted this out today. Churchill Downs just got a 30-year property tax holiday until 2055. While Louisville families and small businesses drown in skyrocketing property taxes, the billion-dollar gambling giant won't pay a dime. Last week, Metro Council voted to extend Churchill Downs' tax exemption and greenlit a $1.2 billion in industrial revenue bonds for the company. This isn't economic development, it's legalized corruption. Churchill Downs posted a record revenue of $2.7 billion.
Billion with a B?
And net income of just shy of a half a billion, so $427 million last year. They're not hurting. They're not going anywhere. The Kentucky Derby alone guarantees that, and thanks to the 2023 sports betting law that requires every mobile app, FanDuel, DraftKings, to partner with a Kentucky racetrack, Churchill Downs, Damon Thayer, that has Damon Thayer written all over it. Every sports betting mobile app has to partner with a Kentucky racetrack. Churchill Downs now controls roughly 45% of the state's online sports betting market.
Jeez.
This is, again, from Andrew Cooperrider. Kentucky's government has spent years rigging the system to keep Churchill Downs fat and happy. The least they could do is make the company pay the same taxes as the corner store or the family living next door. If property taxes are too crushing for a corporation raking in $427 million in profit, imagine what they're doing to everyone else. Maybe it's time to lower taxes for all of us, not just hand sweetheart deals to connected insiders. The only way Churchill Downs and government seem to win is when the rest of us lose, says Andrew Cooperrider.
Oh, the government is working for the rich? I can't believe it.
I'll take it one step further. I mean, give a little back to the community that surrounds you. I love Churchill Downs.
Why would you do that? That's socialism. That's a handout. Don't do that.
It's in a rough part of town. It hasn't looked as good as it has in the past couple of years, but thank God Derby tickets are just going to go up again and again and again. I used to be able to go to the Derby every year with my friends for like $60 in my lifetime. When I was of the age to drink of 21 years old, only 5 years ago.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago, I was able to go for $60. Now it's like $200 and something, and I can't even leave the infield.
All right, what if I told you, though, our good friends at Churchill Downs does give sometimes maybe $1 million to JCPS?
Oh, well, then we're fine. Yeah,
God.
So they're fixing
$1 million of maybe $500 million. Maybe $1 million. Usually it's not quite $1 million, but maybe $1 million goes back to JCPS.
You mean the $1 million that have been come out and saying they're being used incorrectly because they can't even get busing systems correct?
Yeah. Listen, like, we all love Churchill Downs. We all love going to I shouldn't say we all, but like, I like Churchill Downs. I like going to the track. They have certainly outpriced just the folks that live around that part.
What's the tax
and even
exemption?
Just the what's that?
What did they get a tax exemption for?
That they exist, that they're in Louisville, that they provide the jobs, that they provide the entertainment, the business. Hey, Churchill Downs, you know what?
Churchill Downs.
Actually, why don't you go pack up and leave? Take Churchill Downs with you. Go take it to Indiana. Go pack up the Twin Spires, all the dirt, all the track, and go move your equipment. They're not going anywhere. And I agree. They need to pay their fair share of property taxes. What are we doing? And let's also just remember taxation's theft, so if they don't have to pay it, why should the sports talker have to pay his taxes?
Why am I paying it?
It's ridiculous. I don't have $420 or $30 million in net profit. If I did, I'd pay my taxes. Grandma, why didn't you pay your taxes?
Well, I didn't have any money.
All right, I wanted to bring that up so we can move on to something else.
Like it's a professional sports team that might leave town if they don't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so the Kentucky Derby potentially could just leave.
Yes.
And be.
Yeah, and like Pimlico, some Triple Crown races have moved or in the process of moving, and they're never taking the Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs. What are you talking about? Have you seen how much you all built there? And then what happens if you just leave that? I'll start my own track. And you know what? People are getting dollar beers again.
How does that happen how does Metro Council? I would love to know the argument for this. I would love to know why you would vote yes to extend Churchill Downs taxes.
Well, they probably get a kickback. The horse racing industry. I mean, they had like. Again, we didn't have gambling in Kentucky for the longest time because the horse racing industry said not to do it.
Yeah.
And then the horse racing industry said, oh, wait, here's a way that we can actually profit from the sports gambling. So I'm sure they probably have sweetheart deals with folks or causes important to the people of Metro Council. It's just lobbying. It's like any lobbyist. The money's good, so they say yes to it. And they would probably spin it, besides the corruption, they'd say, we have to make Churchill Downs happy. Do you know how many jobs they provide? How much money they give back to the community? They do this, that.
Can they do all of that and
pay their taxes? Just do all that and pay their taxes? No, we got to give them an exemption.
That's what drives me crazy when,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and people who are struggling, they still have to pay their taxes. Still comes out of their paycheck all the time. People who live around there.
Hooray!
What was that hooray for?
That is for us paying our taxes. Congrats to us, guys.
We're doing it. I'm glad. I know it would be nice if. Well, let's move on to something else.
All right, let's move on. Did you see what the Notre Dame athletic director say? Because I do see on the YouTube stream that one producer, Matt Childers, put the crying Irish. Wait, I thought it was the fighting Irish. That little leprechaun is crying.
This guy just won't stop.
What is going on here? We've got to have some accountability, just not to say the dumbest stuff possible publicly. Notre Dame's AD, we were shocked, mystified what happened Sunday. We had one of the most dominant 10-game runs in the history of college football. That 10-game run, they beat 2-10 Purdue, 2-10 Arkansas, Boise State, 7-5 NC State, 2-10 Boston College, 9-3 USC, Navy, non-power 4, Syracuse 3-9, and Stanford 4-8. That dude literally thinks that was one of the most dominant 10-game runs in the history of college football. Didn't Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase just absolutely annihilate everybody? And actually good teams, not just one team that had 9 wins?
In that same presser, he came out and said that Notre Dame felt personally attacked by the ACC because their social media campaign. Of course! They want Miami in the playoff.
You're not in the ACC,
You're
Notre
not
Dame.
an ACC
Not in
competitor.
this sport.
You are a part of the ACC in 24 sports, but not the one you're complaining about.
Exactly.
You choose to be exempt.
And I go back to what I said yesterday. I bet behind the scenes they were probably like, we want both Miami and Notre Dame, but obviously Miami first, because when you're ranking those two teams, did they play head-to-head? I wonder. Oh, yeah, they did. Who won that game? We'll probably just default to them as being our champion to get
Good
into
way to
the
do
league.
it, actually. Yeah.
They've really leave then, Notre Dame. Leave the ACC. Do it.
Well, they're not even in it, so
Dude.
I don't think anybody's
Well,
going to mess
join the ACC.
No, leave all the other sports. Oh, you're so mad about everything. Leave it all.
They'll just play a full group of 5 schedule next season.
Or are you just going to whine about it?
I can't wait till they join the SEC.
They can't. They got to. NBC's not going to let them do that. They're not going to let them join the Big Ten.
And next year, as long as they're in the top 12, Sweet Widow Notre Dame gets to go to the college football playoffs automatically. Does anybody else get that deal? No, just Widow Notre Dame. Okay, Widow Notre Dame gets to go playoffs. We hate it if you quit again this year.
Also, not accepting your bowl bid is so lame. I wish teams couldn't do that. I mean, come on.
They have nothing.
I agree.
They have no pushback.
Well, the conferences are finding their schools a ton, but Notre Dame's not in a
no
conference.
pushback.
Exactly.
They
So
can do
no
whatever they want.
pushback. Yeah, it's this is a really. I think things are really thin. Like the ice is thin right now, and something's going to crack. It's a really interesting time in college athletics.
When's the last time Notre Dame won a national championship?
I think 1934. No, I'm just kidding, but it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think Rudy. Leftist hero Stephen Peake, says one texter. Another texter says, pretty sure listen, if I'll be a leftist if it means getting rid of property taxes. Pretty sure the biggest chunk of Churchill Downs' income is now casinos. They have over 10 casinos across the country in their portfolio as far away as Mississippi. Oh, I don't know if I knew that. When are we going to get casinos in Kentucky? When can Daddy play a little blackjack?
We had to fight to get Top Golf.
We did
Come
have
on.
well, progress is a little
Could you
slow in our
imagine
fair
the
town.
light pollution from a casino, TJ?
You know what drives me crazy
As soon as Churchill Downs says yes to the casino, we will have a casino.
is this is another example of them being a company worth billions being welfare queens.
Yeah.
You know, that's what drives me insane. It's like the real welfare queens that's Walmart, and I guess it's Churchill Downs. Like, how come they ask for handouts and they get them all the time in the form of billions of dollars of unpaid taxes, or we're just going to invest. We're investing into this company that doesn't need to be invested in because it's doing fine.
Texter says, fun torque, give us high-speed rails. I think the Jefferson County specifically should have a high rail system. Just get rid of the gene.
It would be fun. We'll never have high-speed rail here. I think is it a population density? Is that's what's like stopping the investment?
We just add like one giant Disney World monorail around downtown Louisville.
Ryan Quarles wanted to do tunnels through downtown Louisville. He was the ag commissioner. He ran for governor. He legitimately ran on, we're going to build underground tunnels in Louisville, but I think he wanted to do kind of like the Boring Company thing that they do in Vegas, which is cool, very, very cool. But why would Louisville need underground tunnels to
Bring
get
the trolleys
to the
back.
airport to downtown? Just get on I-65 like everybody else.
As soon as it even sprinkles outside, I think would be flooded.
It sure would. It sure would. All right, Kentucky is a 45.5-point favorite.
Gonna be a great game.
It's gonna be a real doozy. I'll be doing the post-game show afterwards. I say Kentucky doesn't cover. They win by 40. North Carolina Central gets the cover, but UK cruises. And what we talk about tomorrow, you'll just have to tune in to find out. Who knows?
We're going to have a lot of hot
game.
takes after the NC Central game to give big win for the Cats. Can't wait.
Thanks for all the texts in the show. Have a great Tuesday. This is Kentucky Roll Call.